Welcome to Can Do Spanish by SpanishPod101.com.
Hola a todos, soy Víctor Trejo. Hi everyone, I'm Víctor Trejo. In this lesson, you'll learn how to talk about the weather in Spanish.
Want to know if your Spanish skills are improving and what your real learning level is? Get your language skills assessed with our free level assessment test. Just click the link in the description and sign up for a free lifetime account to get assessed.
This is Karen Lee, and she's in Mexico City, where it's raining. She's on a long-distance call with Maria Avila, her former homestay mother. Maria asks, "How is the weather?"
¿Cómo está el clima?
Listen to the conversation and focus on the response. Ready?
¿Cómo está el clima? Está lloviendo.
Once more with the English translation.
¿Cómo está el clima?
How is the weather?
Está lloviendo.
It's raining.
Let's take a closer look at the conversation.
Do you remember how Maria asks, "How is the weather?"
¿Cómo está el clima?
First is,
¿Cómo?
how.
¿Cómo? ¿Cómo?
Next is,
Está.
is, as in how is.
Está. Está. Está.
Is from the verb
Estar.
to be.
Estar.
Next is,
El clima.
the weather.
El clima.
Let's start with
Clima.
weather.
Clima. Clima.
In Spanish, all nouns have grammatical gender and are either singular or plural.
Clima.
Is masculine and singular, a fact that will determine the form of other words in the sentence. Note, a general rule of thumb is that nouns that end in
A.
are feminine. However, there are exceptions to the rule, as in the case of
Clima.
before
Clima.
is the article.
El.
Think of it like the in English.
El. El. El.
Is also masculine and singular to agree with.
Clima.
Together it's
El clima.
the weather.
El clima.
Altogether it's
¿Cómo está el clima?
literally, how is the weather?
¿Cómo está el clima?
Let's take a closer look at the response.
Do you remember how Karen says, "It's raining"?
Está lloviendo.
First is
Está.
literally, is, but translates as it's in this context.
Está. Está.
Next is
Lloviendo.
raining.
Lloviendo. Lloviendo. Lloviendo.
Is from the verb
Llover.
meaning to rain.
Llover.
Together,
Está lloviendo.
translating as it's raining.
Está lloviendo.
Note, the corresponding Spanish word for it is understood from context. The pattern is
Está weather condition.
it's weather condition.
Está weather condition.
To use this pattern, simply replace the weather condition placeholder with a suitable word that describes a weather condition. Note, this pattern requires a gerund form to complete the present continuous verb tense. This includes
nevando,
snowing, which is from the verb
nevar,
to snow, or
granizando,
hailing, which is from the verb
granizar,
to hail. Imagine you are in a very cold place, and it's snowing.
nevando, nevando, nevando.
Say, it's snowing. Ready?
Está nevando.
It's snowing.
Está nevando.
Not all weather conditions can be described at this pattern, so you'll need other patterns, such as
Está weather condition.
it's weather condition.
Está weather condition.
To use this pattern, simply replace the weather condition placeholder with a suitable weather condition. Note, this pattern requires an adjective. For example,
Está soleado.
it's sunny.
Está soleado.
In this lesson, you'll learn adjectives related to the weather that you can use with this pattern, such as
Soleado.
sunny,
Nublado.
cloudy, and
Húmedo.
humid.
In Spanish, there are several patterns used to talk about the weather. This lesson focuses on a pattern using estar, the verb to be, used to talk about temporary states and/or conditions related to the weather. Estar.
Let's look at some more examples. Listen and repeat or speak along with the native speakers.
Están lloviendo. Están lloviendo.
Está nevando. Está nevando.
Está soleado. Está soleado.
Está nublado. Está nublado.
Está húmedo en Veracruz. Está húmedo en Veracruz. Did you notice how I added the location in this last sentence?
Wondering how you can master these conversations even faster? Here's how. 1. Read along. You get the lesson conversation and translations inside our dialogue tool, so that you see each word as you hear it and understand it all. 2. Practice speaking. By shadowing what you hear, you can also record and compare yourself with native speakers with our voice recording tools. And 3. Take our assessment tests and see how much you remember. These tools are part of our Can-Do course. Just click the link in the description to get them.
Está húmedo en Veracruz.
It's humid in Veracruz. First is
Está.
it's.
Está.
Next is
Húmedo.
humid.
Húmedo. Húmedo.
After this is
En Veracruz.
in Veracruz.
En Veracruz.
First is
En.
meaning in.
En. En.
Next is the location. In this case,
Veracruz. Veracruz.
altogether it's
Está húmedo en Veracruz.
humid in Veracruz. The pattern is
Está weather condition and location.
it's weather condition in location. To use this pattern, simply replace the weather condition placeholder with a suitable weather condition, and the location placeholder with your current location. Note, this pattern requires an adjective for the weather condition and the name of a city, village, or town. You should be aware of this pattern, but for this lesson, we won't use locations. Let's review the key vocabulary.
Nevar,
To snow,
nevar, nevar. Nevando,
snowing,
nevando, nevando. Soleado,
sunny,
soleado, soleado. Nublado,
cloudy,
nublado, nublado.
Let's review. Respond to the prompts by speaking aloud. Then, repeat after me, focusing on pronunciation. Ready? Do you remember how to say raining? Lloviendo. Lloviendo. Do you remember how Karen Lee says, "It's raining"?
Está lloviendo.
Está lloviendo. Do you remember how to say weather? Clima. Clima. And how to say the weather? El clima. El clima. Do you remember the word for how? ¿Cómo? ¿Cómo? Do you remember how Maria Avila asks, "How is the weather?"
¿Cómo está el clima?
¿Cómo está el clima? Do you remember how to say snowing? Nevando. Nevando. And how to say sunny? Soleado. Soleado. Do you remember the word for cloudy? Nublado. Nublado.
Let's practice. Imagine you're Karen Lee, and it's cloudy. Respond to the question. Ready?
¿Cómo está el clima? Está nublado.
Listen again and repeat.
Está nublado. Está nublado.
Let's try another. Imagine you're Maria Avila Cruz, and it's sunny. Ready?
¿Cómo está el clima? Está soleado.
Listen again and repeat.
Está soleado. Está soleado.
Let's try one more. Imagine you're Angel Salazar, and it's snowing. Ready?
¿Cómo está el clima?
Está nevando.
Listen again and repeat.
Está nevando. Está nevando.
This is the end of this lesson.
Now, here's what you can do to cement this conversation in your head. Review the conversation with our dialogue tool and lesson transcripts. Study the key words and phrases with our spaced repetition flashcards. Review the key grammar and cultural tips inside the lesson notes. And test yourself with our assessment tests. So click the link in the description right now and sign up for your free lifetime account to access our Can-Do course.
Now you know how to talk about the weather in Spanish. That's all there is to it. Keep practicing and move on to the next lesson.